How are you? No, really, how are you? Welcome back to Journey at Home, where we're creating helpful content to inspire you to follow Jesus, because following Jesus really will make your life better. He'll make you better at life. I'm Matt, and I bet when you ask somebody how they're doing, the answer you get the most is some version of, oh, I'm good, just busy, And that's probably the answer you give most often too. I mean, think about it. How do you feel right now? Are you rested, energized, relaxed? Are you exhausted, stressed, anxious, rushed, on edge? Let's take it a step further. When's the last time you had an entire day with nothing on your schedule to do? I mean, when's the last time you sat down with family or friends to enjoy a simple, unhurried conversation or meal? When's the last time you thought, what do I want to do with my spare time? It's like, spare time? What in the world? Most everybody I know feels like they have more to do than they have time to do it. And today we just assume that pace of life is normal. But it is not normal. It's actually not healthy. All it's doing is creating people and families and communities who are worn out, anxious, stressed out, and angry. So in this episode, we are wrapping up our series Good Again, because after the last 3 years of all the challenges we've been through, the health pandemic, economic challenges, social unrest, the political tensions, we can all agree we're ready for life to be good again. And we have all assumed the problem is we're tired, we're physically exhausted after everything, we're mentally exhausted, we just need a break. But I don't think that's actually our deepest problem, because you can fix tired with a few naps. Our problem is way worse than being tired. We're empty. Our soul is empty. Our reserves are depleted. And there's no amount of isolation or fun destinations that will replenish an empty soul. The only one who can fill your soul is the one who created your soul, which is why Jesus' invitation for all of us who are weary and burdened and exhausted and tired and empty, all of us who want life to be good again, his invitation is just follow me. Follow me. He invites us to come to him and to adopt his lifestyle, to adopt his way of life. Follow me means we organize our lives around 3 basic goals. We learn how to be with Jesus, because you got to spend time with him to get to know him. And then as you get to know him, the second goal is you become like Jesus. The more you're with him, the more you think like he thinks and value what he values. You become like him in character, which allows us to accomplish the third goal, which is do what Jesus would do if he were you. To start living like Jesus would live if he were in your shoes, to adopt his lifestyle. And the promise Jesus gives us is that if we'll learn to do this, he will give us rest, not just for our bodies, he will give us rest for our souls. But that rest cannot come at our current pace. We got to be willing to live at the pace Jesus would do life if he were you. See, Jesus taught that the greatest enemy to life being good isn't what's happening around you, it's actually what's happening in you. And more experts are weighing in on the fact that our speed of life is out of control and it is dangerous to us internally. Matter of fact, they have labeled the epidemic of the modern world what they call hurry sickness. So I thought this would be fun. Here are a few definitions of hurry sickness. You can kind of self-diagnose whether you have contracted this, okay? One definition I came across was hurry sickness is a behavior pattern characterized by continual rushing and anxiousness, an overwhelming and continual sense of urgency. Sound familiar? Let me give you another definition. Somebody else said it is a malaise in which a person feels chronically short of time and so tends to perform every task faster and to get flustered when encountering any kind of delay. I think I'm guilty of that one. Now, maybe you're thinking of some other people and that's all fun and good, but it really is us, right? Here's one more definition. A continuous struggle and unremitting attempt to accomplish or achieve more and more things or participate in more and more events in less and less time. Now, if you're still not sure this is you, here are a few symptoms that are offered up in the book, The Time Cure. They say, do you ever find yourself moving from one checkout line to another because it looks shorter or faster? Or counting the cars in front of you and either getting in the lane that has the least or the lane that you think is going to go the fastest? Or multitasking to the point of forgetting one of the tasks that you were doing? Or, and this one made me chuckle, accidentally putting your clothes on inside out or backwards. Those are some symptoms of hurry sickness, and when you catch it, it's dangerous. And here's why: because it violently attacks your soul. So why do we live this way? What is it that actually is driving all the hurry in our lives? Well, we all talk about how we don't like being so busy. We all dream about when life's going to slow down. And we all admit we miss having dinner with the family around the table. We miss having an unscheduled day to relax. We miss getting to do whatever we want to do, what we enjoy. So what would drive us to do something most of us wish we actually didn't have to do? There's an author, Dallas Willard, who wrote that our hurry is driven by one of three things. He said, hurry is a state of frantic effort one falls into in response to inadequacy, fear, or guilt. Think about this. Inadequacy, which is the idea that I don't feel good enough about me. I don't feel like I measure up. So I'm going to do more and achieve more so people will see I am more than I think I am. That could be driving it. Or secondly, he said fear. I can't say no to anything because I'm afraid I'll miss out. I'm afraid my kids will miss out. I'm afraid I won't be seen as successful. I'm afraid I won't be a good parent if I prevent my kid from being involved in another activity, And third, guilt. Oh, I messed up, so I got to do more to make up for it. I got to say yes because I feel guilty if I say no. I'm letting people down. I feel guilty not helping them. I feel guilty not letting my kids do everything their friends do. Inadequacy, fear, and guilt. But Jesus' way of life, well, it is never marked by any of those three. Matter of fact, he promised when you become like him, when you learn to live at his pace, all three of those things disappear. Now, the Apostle Paul, he explained it this way to Christians in the region of Galatia. He said, okay, you were called to be free, which means if the way you follow Jesus doesn't feel like freedom, you're probably not doing it right. Jesus' way of life frees us from hurry that is driven by inadequacy, fear, and guilt. But it's not the kind of freedom where then you do whatever you want to do when you want to do it however you want. No, Paul says there are boundaries to this freedom. He says don't use your freedom to indulge the flesh, in other words, just to do what you want. Rather, he says, use your freedom to serve one another humbly in love, for the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command, love your neighbor as yourself. Which means the distinguishing mark of any of us who are followers of Jesus should be our love for others. It should be loving the people around us like Jesus has loved us. So if that's what we ought to be known for, and if that's what we ought to be doing, think about this. Hurry and love, they are incompatible, aren't they? Yeah, because love is time-consuming. You can't love in a hurry. You've never been loving in a hurry. You've been angry, irritable, impatient, but you've never been loving when you're in a hurry. It's impossible to follow Jesus well in a hurry, which is why Paul gave this advice to the Galatians. He said, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to walk by God's Spirit, and you'll not gratify the desires of your flesh. I don't know if you've thought about this, but nobody ever talks about running with God. You know why? Because God doesn't run. Nobody ever talks about, I'm hurrying with God, because God doesn't hurry. No, you have to walk with God. If you're going to become like Jesus, if you're going to do what he would do if he were you, you've got to learn to live at his pace. To which we all think, I got too much to do to slow down. But think about this. Jesus was never in a hurry, and he changed the world. So maybe the approach we're taking isn't as productive as we think it is. Maybe it really is true that we have just enough time to do what God has created us to do. So if we are running out of time every day, it might be a sign that we're doing some things that we shouldn't be doing and God didn't plan for us to do. But a change of pace, well, that'll take you to a better place. See, when you learn to walk by the Spirit, it produces something that looks very different than hurry sickness and the busyness that describes most of us. Paul says life, when Jesus' way of life becomes a rhythm of your life, well, that kind of life takes you to a different place. He says the fruit of that, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. In other words, when you're walking with Jesus, you start looking less busy and you look more like those qualities. But as long as you let hurry dominate your time and your schedule and your life, I can promise you, you will have very few of those qualities in your life because hurry and love are incompatible. Hurry never leads to joy. It steals it. Hurry never produces peace. It robs you of it. Hurry kills your ability to see the good in the moment, to be kind, to be grateful to others, to be patient and gentle with the people around you. Those kinds of qualities, they have their own pace, don't they? It is the pace of Jesus. It's a pace of walking with the Spirit. They are not produced by urgency, hurry, and busyness. So life will never be good again until Jesus' way of life becomes the rhythm and the pace of your life. So let me ask you the $1 million question. Which do you want? the life you're currently living, or a life that is filled with relationships that are marked by love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, on and on. You can't have both hurry and a life with those qualities. You got to choose. You have to decide if you're going to run with the people around you or walk with Jesus. It is up to you. Now, we all want life to be good again, but according to Paul, there's only one way to find it. He says, since we live by the Spirit, let's keep in step with the Spirit. Stop running. Stop chasing every opportunity because you feel inadequate, trying to prove yourself. You're afraid. You feel guilty. No. Instead, the way to life being good again is to slow down and stay in step with Jesus. It's to gain the wisdom from Jesus to know what really matters long term for you and what things are not going to produce the health and the life that you want most. So here's a question I hope will lead you to start changing your pace this week. How much of what you currently do is leading you to the life Jesus invites you into? How much of what you're involved in, what your kids are involved in, how much of that is producing the kind of life Jesus wants to produce in you as you stay in step with His Spirit? And how much of what you're currently doing are good things, but they are actually not leading to a great life? They're good things, but they're robbing you of the best things. Which good things are robbing you of time together to deepen your relationships? Which good things are robbing you of the margin you need to love and be at peace? Which good things are distracting you from being with Jesus and becoming more like Him? Which good things are keeping your kids from deepening their relationship with Jesus? Are you ready to change? I'm telling you, a change of pace will lead you to a better place. But you're going to have to fight to say no to good things so you can keep the best things front and center. You got to believe that walking with Jesus will take you farther than running on your own. So will you try it? It's going to be so jarring for some of us, right? So let me suggest an experiment. Will you order your life around the pace and priorities of Jesus for the next 6 months? Just 6 months, okay? Will you say no to anything that tries to own your time and run you ragged? And for 6 months, just slow down. Spend more time focused on loving God and others. Spend less time chasing every week, all the activities, all the busyness, and see what happens. If at the end of 6 months your life is less rich and meaningful, just go back to running full speed ahead 7 days a week. But I'm going to bet you that you'll never want to go back, because walking with Jesus beats running on your own every day. You stay in step with His Spirit, and you'll find He'll make your life better and make you better at life. So, learn to be with Jesus, become like Jesus, do what Jesus would do at the pace He would do it if He were you. That's how to make life good again.